It was a crime that happened back on Mother's Day, but police say they're actively searching for a man that was seen using a stolen ATM card to get out a lot of cash.
A new program in Scott County is giving inmates the opportunity to grow their own food.
And authorities say this man is responsible for stealing millions from dozens of victims. The charges against him and the lessons you can learn from this case coming up.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5:30.
He's accused of stealing items from a home and then swiping hundreds of dollars from their bank account. The crime happened on Mother's Day at a Lincoln County home.
The victim tells us the thief took his daughter's purse, used her debit card, and stole from her bank account before she even knew that she was the victim. But as our Phil Pendleton reports, the thief's actions were caught on camera. It shows us who police are looking for in our top story at 5:30.
I think it was just a random act.
Kenny No says Mother's Day was a busy time for his family, and his daughter, distracted while dealing with her child, left her purse in the car. Some time later, she discovered it was missing.
After looking for a little while, she pulled up on her account and saw that $900 had been taken out of her account.
No says while he was on his property, he made off with a lot more than simply his daughter's purse.
Chain is missing. My 16-foot trailer is gone.
Along with a weed eater and a blower.
So I feel, that we've been violated and feel like that community needs to know about it so that they can be more protective.
Police say this is the suspect, as the photos were taken when the $900 was withdrawn from the PNC Bank branch.
His face, he's trying to cover it up with a sock, but he's really not doing a real good job. So I feel like somebody will know this gentleman.
No says it's bizarre because more than 2 decades of living in the same home, he's never had anything like this happen. But he hopes the man is caught, and not just for justice.
And hopefully turning his life around.
Police say they're not sure if the man has committed similar crimes in other places. In Lincoln County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Well, the thief did manage to figure out the PIN number on the ATM card, and that is how he was able to steal all of the money from that woman's accounts.
The start of June is feeling more like the start of March or April.
Yeah, it has been a wet day around the Commonwealth with some cooler than normal temperatures. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey is tracking all this rain on the First Alert Defender.
Yeah, guys, coldest June day in Lexington since 1967. What's 50 years among friends almost? We look outside across the land right now, 4 of our live sky cams, mainly with a lot of mid to upper 50s. Cloudy skies continue. 57 Lexington into the Richmond area. Frankfort at 58, 57 into northern Kentucky. Thankfully, though, we're starting to turn off the heavier rains into parts of the region where some of us have picked up better than 1 inch of water so far on the day. You see those upper 50s across most of central Kentucky into the eastern part of the state, as well as live First Alert Defender with everything in motion now, showing still a lot of clouds to come on through central Kentucky, even as the steady rains begin to finally shut down. Showers, thunderstorms, the farther south and southeast that we go. What we're seeing across the Lexington metro, overcast conditions, some drizzle, maybe an out-and-out shower taking place here between Richmond and Lancaster up into Nicholasville and Jessamine County. A little heavier bursts of rain Monticello to Williamsburg and Corbin. Harlan County, then right up the Mountain Parkway corridor and through US 23 into eastern Kentucky. If you're out and about this evening, those numbers pretty much holding in the 50s with cool conditions that will roll on. Guys, when I come back in a few minutes, we're going to track some warmer temperatures that will bring storm chances back into your 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Chris. A lawsuit has been filed to stop the Social Security Administration from suspending disability payments and benefits for people in eastern Kentucky. A spokeswoman says the agency is redetermining benefits for 1,500 people who are represented by Eric C. Kahn. Benefits for about 900 clients have been suspended. A lawsuit was filed this weekend on behalf of 2 people, but it seeks class action status. Kahn is accused of scheming with a West Virginia judge to improperly approve disability cases. Kahn says he did nothing wrong.
The city of Midway could become the latest city to pass a fairness ordinance. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Woodford County. The city council is meeting right now to vote on the ordinance. The law is designed to prohibit discrimination in housing, employment, and public accommodations based on race, religion, sexual orientation, or gender identity. If the council passes it, Midway would become the 8th city in the state to pass such a law. In Barron County, a man believed to be responsible for the disappearance of a 2-year-old answers the charges in another case. Anthony Barber pled not guilty today to kidnapping, burglary, and resisting arrest. Police say Barber broke into a home and forced a woman to drive him to an unknown location. Barber is also a suspect in the death of 2-year-old Lainey Wallace. The toddler went missing May 19th, and police say her body was found May 25th in a well near her home. Barber has not been charged in Lainey's death or disappearance. And in Hardin County, state police are still looking for a man wanted in connection to a death investigation. The death happened along Crum Road in Vine Grove. Troopers say they're searching for 48-year-old Timothy Cruz for questioning. Today, we're told that Louisville Metro Police have been asked to be on the lookout for Cruz. His last known address was in Rimeyville. The name of the person found dead and cause of death have not yet been released.
Today marks a sad anniversary. 32 years and countless leads later, the disappearance of a Louisville girl is still a mystery. 12-year-old Ann Gottlieb was last seen on June 1st, 1983. She was riding her bicycle home from the Bashford Manor Mall in Louisville, but she never made it home. Her bike was later found propped up alongside one of the stores at the mall. Today, an age-progressed photo of Ann was released. There it is. This is what she's believed to look like now at the age of 42. When she disappeared, Ann was 5'1" and weighed 85 pounds. She also speaks fluent Russian and English. There is a $15,000 reward for information leading to Ann's whereabouts.
He wants to teach inmates valuable life lessons, so the Scott County jailer has started a new program at the jail. He's letting inmates grow their own food. A few times a week, the inmates go to the community garden in Georgetown and take care of their plants. New at 5:30, Mike Linden talks to the jailer about what he hopes this project will teach the inmates.
3 times a week, 6 Scott County Detention Center inmates are doing something they've never done before: grow their own food.
This spring I called the jailer and asked if inmates could come out and help me clean the garden for spring, and also mentioned that I'd heard maybe he was interested in some plots for the inmates, and that just got the ball rolling.
Scott County jailer Darren Broyles says allowing inmates to plant, grow, and eat their own food teaches valuable life lessons.
Our goal down at the jail is to positively impact the inmates in any way that we can to try to help them be successful when they're released, and I think this goes a long way towards that effort.
While the program is still new, Broyles says that he already has plans to expand. Right now, the inmates have only planted tomatoes, but once they clear this additional plot behind me here, they'll soon get green beans into the ground.
Only 6 inmates participate in the program right now, all of which are hand-picked low-risk offenders.
The inmates are clearly identifiable, and they are always accompanied by a deputy from the jail who watches them and supervises the work that they're doing.
All plants and seeds in the garden were donated by the community, and they're always accepting new donations to add to the plot. In Scott County, Mike Linden, WKYT.
Broyles says any extra vegetables the garden yields will be donated to local charities and food banks in Scott County.
Investigators are calling him a savvy con man who collected millions of cash from dozens of unsuspecting investors. All that stolen money fueled an expensive gambling habit. Authorities say Ronald Roberts stole from victims of an investment scam.
He would approach potential victims, telling them that they could double their investment, and he would make good on that first investment.
For example, if someone invested $10,000, they would receive $20,000 back at the end of the 30 days.
Once he got you on the hook for a larger amount, such as $50,000 or $100,000, he wouldn't make good on that return.
The investment opportunity involved real estate.
He would tell them that a large retailer was interested in some property that he co-owned with some of his relatives, and that if they invested with him to help him buy out his relatives, they would double their money once the large retailer paid him.
Authorities say it was all a scam.
Our suspect was a very savvy con man. He only dealt in cash. He was one of the best con men I've ever seen, because he was able to talk people into giving hundreds of thousands of dollars to him in cash only. That way, it was very hard to follow the paper trail.
50 victims lost more than $2 million. What did Roberts do with the money?
Our suspect was an avid gambler. He would gamble as much as $30,000 to $50,000 a day.
A warning from postal inspectors: always do your research before investing.
Chances are something like that sounds too good to be true probably is. I don't know of any investment scheme that can guarantee you a 100% return on your money within 30 days.
Ronald Roberts has been charged with 3 felony counts of wire fraud and 1 felony count of mail fraud. This is not his first run-in with the law. Postal inspectors say he's a repeat offender who has been to prison before on similar schemes.
Follow WKYT online at WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Kentucky's 2 U.S. senators are on opposite sides when it comes to national security.
And the city of Georgetown is booming. Bill Bryant takes a look at how big the city's grown over the years in the bottom line.
Good evening. Kentucky's 2 high-profile U.S. senators are starkly and visibly divided right now over national security and the country's data collection programs. The National Security Agency no longer has the authority to collect data about Americans' phone records in bulk. Senator Rand Paul aggressively stood in the way of extending that program as Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell pressed for the post-September 11th measures to be kept in place. Although it ended at midnight this morning, the bulk collection program is likely to be revived quickly, with more debate set for this week. Georgetown Mayor Tom Prather is resisting the boomtown label to describe his fast-growing city. Despite tripling in population over the last 25 years and new roads and businesses going in, Prather says there is a method to the madness.
You know, I'm not sure if I want to fully embrace the boomtown label. Frequently, boomtowns grow too quickly, and they can't handle that growth, and they ultimately have a poor outcome. We're trying to plan for our growth and do it very carefully.
You can see the full interview with Georgetown's Mayor Prather on demand at KentuckyNewsmakers.com. There's yet another Republican in the presidential race today. South Carolina's Lindsey Graham became the 5th sitting U.S. Senator to announce that he is running for the White House. Graham is 59. He's been in Congress more than 20 years. He's strongly pro-military and a longtime ally of 2008 Republican nominee John McCain. Today is Statehood Day here in the Commonwealth. Kentucky was admitted to the Union on June 1st, 1792. That makes us 213 years old. The Kentucky Society is celebrating in Washington this evening with a special event that's getting underway right now. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
Unemployment numbers continue to go down in Kentucky, and a new expansion in Lexington looks to help those numbers drop even more.
Today, Governor Beshear announced the expansion of Sumitomo Electric Wiring Systems in Lexington. The company will be building a 440,000 square foot facility on Remington Way off Citation Boulevard. The $8.5 million expansion is expected to create up to 10 new jobs.
Sumitomo could have moved this group of folks and this operation anywhere because everybody wants a company like Sumitomo. But they chose to be here and stay here in Lexington, Kentucky.
Sumitomo plans to move its current Lexington operations and its 28 employees to the new site by the end of the year. Sumitomo supplies wire harnesses, components, and electronics to the automotive industry.